Hey guys, it's Com from Hollywood Studios here, and in today's video I will be giving you guys a full guide to Six Flags Great Adventure in summer 2023. If you guys have been watching the channel for a little while, you may remember I made a similar video for the spring of 2023, and the reason why that one doesn't carry over to the summer is because during spring a lot of rides that were open now were not open back then. El Toro, Nitro, Batman, Medusa, Mine Train, etc. All of them were not open in spring, or at least early spring, but now they are open, and now the entire park for the most part is completely open. There's definitely a lot that has changed in terms of strategy and making sure you have the best visit at Great Adventure you possibly can when looking back at the spring. So I'm going to give you guys my best tips, what you should do first, what you should do last, what food places you should eat, etc. in this video. So starting with arrival, if you're a first-time visitor and you're able to get to the park early, I would definitely recommend getting to the park for opening. When I say for opening, I'd say get there around 30 minutes prior to the listed opening. So if the park is said to open at 10:30, get there around 10 o'clock and of course 11, 10:30. What the park has been tending to do is a staggered opening of sorts where they only open one half of the park for the listed opening time and they use it as more of a preview time, and then the other half of the park is roped off until the official opening time or around 30 minutes after the posted opening time. It's a little confusing. I've only experienced it once, so I'm going to try to give my best summary of it that I possibly can. On my most recent visit, we got to the park at around 10:40, and from what I understand, the park had opened at 10:30 with the right side, which means Nitro, Jersey Devil, being open, and the left side, which is El Toro, King Cod, not being open until 11 o'clock. I can't remember what the listed opening time for the park was that day. It might have been 10:30, it might have been 11, but just keep in mind that the whole park will not be open at opening time. They do it differently every day. So from there, if you are using that rope drop system and you have to go to the right side of the park, hit whatever you can hit first. Nitro will likely be open and will likely not have a very long line since the park is just open. At any point throughout the day, if you're there right when the park opened, that ride that you're trying to go on probably will not have a very long line. The only rides that really fill up quickly in terms of a queue are the Skyway, and really, who's going to rope drop the Skyway? You're going to the park for their big coasters. So in my opinion, if you're not having to deal with rope drop, your best bet, from my experience, is to just go straight to El Toro. El Toro, in my opinion, is the best coaster at the park, and if you're looking to get a bunch of rides in quick, you can ride El Toro probably 10 times within the first hour, maybe more, maybe less, especially depending on the crowds and if the ride is open at opening. There's a lot of instances where rides like El Toro and King Cod will not open right at park opening. They'll be delayed a little bit, whether it be because of maintenance, weather, among other issues. Sometimes they're not open immediately. And unfortunately, the app doesn't tend to be the most accurate with ride closures. So for me, what I do is I look and see if I see the ride running. And if I haven't seen it run in about 5 minutes, chances are it's probably not open, and I'm going to go check out a different ride. If you're a Diamond Elite, Diamond, or Diamond Pass holder or member, I would definitely recommend going to the VIP Lounge, which is located where Best of the West used to be, right across from Runaway Mine Train. All of those past tiers I just listed get access to the lounge for free. That also includes the VIP garden next to Houdini's Great Escape. The best thing about the lounge, in my opinion, is the fact that you get free popcorn, free chips, free water, and unlimited soft drinks in there, as well as a nice place to cool down and chill out. They don't always have wristbands available, as they're only allowed to give out so many per day, so if you do want to get that, I'd recommend getting over there relatively quickly. Additionally, if you do want to pay for access, I believe it ranges between $15 and $25 depending on the day, so definitely keep that in mind if you're looking for a place to cool down that's not going to be crowded. The VIP Lounge in Frontier Adventures is definitely the way to go. As for routes, I would recommend taking around the park. Again, this is assuming that you're not having to deal with rope drop and the entire park is open at park opening. I would go from El Toro to Medusa to Mine Train, then loop up to King Cod, hit King Cod, Zumanjaro. If you're interested in riding Green Lantern or Superman, that might be a decent time to go check them out, as typically Superman gets a really long line. If Superman's a top priority for you, you could start at Superman, then Green Lantern, then go to King Cod, cut through, go to El Toro, hit Medusa, Runaway Train, and then you could take the Skyway over to the other side of the park, given that it doesn't have a super long line. Either way, whenever you get to the other side of the park, I would definitely recommend hitting Jersey Devil and Nitro pretty quick. Nitro is a very popular attraction, as is Jersey Devil, so sometimes they will get pretty long lines, but they do have very good operations, so those lines will move quickly. Batman is another good one to hit. It tends to get a pretty lengthy line as well on crowded days, and the line doesn't always move that fast considering sometimes it has breakdowns. I would also recommend checking out Wonder Woman relatively early, as that is typically the most popular ride at the park. Even on a dead day, that ride will have a line, so if you're interested in riding it, definitely do it quick. And of course, the entirety of Metropolis is a good area to check out as well. And the other coasters like Joker, Harley Quinn, Soul Mountain, you can pretty much hit those whatever time of day. Sometimes they won't have a line, sometimes they will. It's pretty much luck of the draw. Now, if you do want to start on the right side of the park, or if you're dealing with rope drop and you have to start on the right side of the park, I would definitely hit Nitro and Jersey Devil relatively early, then hit Batman, Wonder Woman, and make your way over to the other side of the park. You could also reverse the order, that way when you're done at Jersey Devil, you can just walk over and take the Skyway, though the Lakefront Skyway typically has a much longer line than the Frontier Skyway, so you may be waiting a while if you want to take the Skyway. I know that was probably a lot of information to take in, but there really are a lot of different strategies to having a good day at Great Adventure. From my experience so far this summer, I haven't really seen crowds be that bad. They were really bad when the camps were there and school trips were there. Now it's pretty much just camps, so sometimes weekdays will be crowded with buses. The parking lot may look pretty empty, but if you look in the back of the parking lot and you see buses, that means it's not going to be a super dead day. Though, if you go on a weekend, typically you're not going to see the camps as they only operate on weekdays, and sometimes you'll get really lucky and have a weekend that's completely empty, which I've had quite a few times. Really weird the way the crowd flows at Great Adventure, but that's just the way it works. Now, with regard to food, I would definitely recommend checking out certain places. Fatburger, in my opinion, still does have the best burger at the park, though it's not as good as it used to be. It definitely degraded a little bit over time. Johnny Rockets is another good place, but that tends to be pretty crowded. I know a lot of people have a thing against theme park pizza, but Great Adventures pizza, specifically that of Primo's, over by Main Street, and as well as the area over by El Toro and Medusa, the pizza there is pretty good, and they have pretty good garlic knots there. It's a pretty good deal. Another really good food place is Macho Nacho, which is right next to El Toro. It's a bunch of Mexican food, and all of these places I'm listing are on the dining plan, so if you have that, definitely go to those places. There's a few other places too that are pretty good, but those are typically my go-tos, along with Mama Flora's. They have some pizza options and Italian options. They also have really good cheesesteaks, and from there, for those of you that are day ticket holders, I would highly recommend getting the park's meal deal. It's not very expensive at all, and you get pretty good deals on food, much cheaper than buying food outright, so definitely check that out if you're interested. Of course, season pass is always your best bang for the buck as opposed to daily admission. If you're going to the park twice in 1 year, it'll pretty much pay for itself, so if you are looking at a day ticket but you think you might be coming back for, say, Fright Fest or Holiday in the Park, I would probably just spring for a season pass. There's 4 different options, and I have them all explained in a video, which is linked down below if you want to check that out after this one. But with all of that being said, that's about it for what I have for my guide to Great Adventure in summer 2023. There's a lot of things that can be taken into account when visiting the park, so it's hard to consolidate them all into one video, and I didn't want to give you guys a ton of information. So if you do have any additional questions, let me know either on my Instagram DMs, Facebook, or in the comments below of this video. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to Collywood Studios, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.